Interesting open here. Open slightly, gap up, and close the gap immediately. Got a short, but I didn't get in time. I wanted to see 74.25, but I didn't quite get up there. And then to the low side, 73.70 maybe. They're hanging out at 7,400. Sweep, no sweep so far. YM is headed down, NQ is holding a little. No sweeps. You're in negative gamma to start. Call wall is way up there. I really wanted to see a run towards 74.25-ish, but I'm beginning to doubt that we see that. Got a bad PPI, but still buy the dip. Everything is buy the dip right now. And I assume that will continue to be the case until OPEX. This is headed slightly lower. Oh, NQ's headed down too. Yeah, it was like at around 920, 925. I really wanted to entertain a short, but I wasn't quite ready to take that trade yet. Looks pretty good so far. And ES is about to head for the sweep there. Shadow low measured to 73.82. We're in a negative gamma pocket. Hey, Koshik. Yes, longs at 74.10. Yep. I was looking for a sweep. Man, I really thought about shorting at around 920, 925 when we got that divergence on a 5 minutes between ES and NQ. And couldn't pull the trigger. I just didn't pull the trigger because it was so close to open, and I figured open can really like mess things up. But that short would have been decent. But yeah, the short target would have been that overnight low, the 74.10. $73.70. I'm thinking $73.70 will hold this thing up today. Would like to see a reaction there on SPX at the lowest point. Oh man, was that the sweep already? Come on now. Yes, already. I mean, NQ's already running. Bit of divergence too. And NQ is already popping. We got the SMT divergence too. I really want this to slightly pull back here. Nothing. That was actually a decent 1 minute IFVG retest on NQ. Let's see if we get the top here. Feels really early. 2390. I am very tempted right here. Okay, I tried it. I'm gonna give it a shot. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's gonna tick me out. I only have like, it's a 4-point stop loss. Yeah, this is definitely gonna tick me out. Yeah, I tried the long, but it wasn't a good long. There was no IFVG, just nothing. Slight SMT on the 5-minute, but NQ is really dragging us down right now. So I'm expecting my stop loss to hit. Yeah, I'm already out. I should have definitely waited. especially because I wanted to see 73.70-ish on SPX. And we're right now at 73.83. Interesting spot around here, like within the next 74.06. Another 10 points down, I would like to see. Okay. Yeah, I would really like to see a 74.70, 74.75 range. If we can get that, I'd be pretty happy. I would try it again. The downside pivot for Alma is 73.74. 73.75, 73.70 would be a treat on SPX. I gave up 4 points there. This time I'll wait for a signal. I'm not just gonna knife catch it. I thought the 5-minute could have held potentially, but it wasn't great confluence, especially from a options depth positioning perspective. I didn't really like it. Thank you longs from 8 p.m. lows. 8 p.m. lows. Yeah, that's the overnight low sweep. That would be perfect. Especially because we're hanging out at that downside pivot. Yep, right off the downside pivot. Holy smokes. That's already 10 points. Yeah. 1 minute gave a decent signal. I really like the 5-minute too. Hopefully we get like a slight retracement there. And NQ still has not swept. I tried it on one account here, not the same one, unfortunately. So I'm still sitting on a 4-point loss on that other one. I should have probably entered on that one. For this one, the one where I took the 4-point loss, I'm going to have to wait to see if NQ sweeps. Not copy trading, by the way, just single account. Eval on this one. Geez, that NQ did not sweep. Okay, let's look at this positioning. There's a possible run up here to 74.05, so about almost 20 points. Just based on positioning alone. Yeah, that 5-minute was such a high volume candle. It just made me click market enter. They're going to count my blessings. I'm going to take it off there. And then maybe re-enter. I really don't like NQ not sweeping there. And it may be because it's an SMT. But there's something, I think that's the reason why I'm not like 100% bought in on this trade. I also didn't enter at a great spot. I got about 7 points off that, I guess. So it's not horrible, but not great either. I would have really liked to see that NQ sweep. So hopefully we get to see it. There's also a reason why I took it off there, and it was just like, what do you call it? Like a breaker retest or OB retest, I think. But it's also the 5-minute ADMA retest. So oftentimes, like if we want to continue lower, we might get a 5-minute ADMA rejection. It's so true. It is so true. That's a good one. I wanted, like, SPX got pretty darn. Let me swap this back. SPX got pretty darn close to the downside pivot of Alma's. I think it hit 75. Her pivot was at 74. But I kind of wanted to see like an overrun of it to make me feel real good about entering, like 73.70, for instance. I really wanted to see that. The 5-minute candle was so nice though. Like, you get that massive bottom wick, but also you get the high volume. It was like a super high volume candle. Kind of reminds me of like termination candle, like a trend changing reversal candle. Yeah, you can kind of see. I started showing both ES and NQ here, but you can kind of see that volume spike on NQ there, even though we did not sweep. And you also see the volume spike in ES there. Turn off SPX. There you go. But yeah, it looks like ES is holding up here. I guess we're just going to do the SMT. $15-minute close, massive bottom wick too. Come on, NQ. You can do it. There's one flaw that I don't like about the high volume candles. Well, there's probably multiple flaws, but what I don't like about it is that sometimes it happens on a major like downward candle. You get the high volume, but you get the full candle. There's no wicks. So then you get slightly more downside where the next candle goes further below, and then you get the reversal. And then there's other times when you get the high volume candle and it looks like it's full confirmation of more downside, but for whatever reason, it doesn't go down anymore. And even though it's like a no wick candle, and then you get almost like a complete reversal on during the next candle, which is like a railroad. It looks like a railroad. Just like no bottom wick, no wick met with no wick, but it reverses in the opposite direction. Yeah, I was just thinking about what you said yesterday for your screens. Your second screen, you have like the YouTube stream on just for chat. Have you tried like making the window really small and then just showing the chat? And then that way you can get more screen real estate back, or any other charts you might want. Yeah, I think this ES is going to run right back up to that VWAP. So it's almost another 10 points from here, which kind of works with Alma Centroid. Pretty darn close. And it also works with the edge of this negative strike cluster. Oh, nice. Okay, that works. See, NQ is not, it's not very convincing right now in NQ. Take a look at the 15. Oh, I see. I see. And Tradeovate works on your phone too, right? Okay, and it works pretty flawlessly on your phone. I've seen a lot of people use it. Oh yeah, here's the NQ. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it either. I feel like I have fat fingers or something. And my phone's pretty, like, I think it's well sized, but yeah, there's a lot of people out there that trade on their phones. It's kind of wild. Very slow stuff here. NQ is just not playing game right now. YM is holding ES up. So right now, oh yeah, NQ is still a little heavy. Positioning starting to change a little. The debt is nearing 40 trillion. And I feel like the debt, it's what they want. I feel like they want to inflate all the debt away, cause massive inflation, inflate all the debt away, and also have an excuse to print the crap out of yeah, just to devalue the currency. And the excuse is obviously war. What do you think? Stalling here on ES. NQ is kind of dragging us down a little. It's continuing its push. YM is trying to hang out within the high parts of today's range. 74.20. 73.96. Pretty good. Yeah, I only really got the first half of what you said. But to use the oil as a barter, that's interesting. I never got that far. That's not a bad take. Not a bad take at all. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Canada. Sorry, Trump wants all of our resources because we're just poorly managing it from a political perspective. Like, there's very little mining, very little exploration that's happening here. Instead, they're adding a lot of what the government did over the 10 plus years of liberal leadership. They basically went green, 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 net zero, and made it really hard for companies to explore, do exploration for any type of minerals, metals, and oil. And that's one of the reasons why, yeah, Trump is like, basically, he wants to come after us for that reason. But now that the leadership is still liberal, but it's center left. It's more of a center left leadership, so it's not so extremely left. So the Mark Carney's starting to implement what Pierre Poilievre, which is the right wing leadership, the conservative leadership, was campaigning for. So it's kind of odd because like the liberal leadership didn't really have a plan going in, and now it's really copying the conservative leadership political plan and platform, which we knew would need to happen anyways, but at least it's happening. Like, for instance, I think it was Germany that approached Canada a while back. I forget how many years back this was, like, but it was, let's say, within 10 years or something. Germany approached Canada and wanted to invest in a pipeline that would service Europe or Germany. And Trudeau said, you know, that's a great idea, but I can't. And the reason why I can't is because of his political party beliefs, and his voters at the time were all green energy people and extreme far left. So he didn't want to he didn't want to piss off the people that voted for him. And pipelines are grossly unpopular with the left. World is shifting from Muslim resources to Christian resources. I don't know. I'm not sure how to think of that yet. Like, I'm not sure what is meant by Muslim resources to Christian resources. Oh, okay. Understood. Okay. Should have been a bit more patient on that trade. Maybe squeeze out another 9 points on that. But I just didn't trust it. especially with NQ. What I should have done is trusted the volume. And we're going right back to Alma Centroid, or the edge of, well, the edge kind of changed now. It used to be 7405, but it looks like positioning has changed quite drastically. The 7400 is no longer a dealer negative positioning. That NQ long was just not, nothing about this upward move was pretty. Yeah, it's a good trend line. I gotta draw more trend lines. All right, we're basically at it right now on ES, right? NQ, it looks like if it was an NQ trend line. Oh yeah, we're right there too. Yeah, damn it. Because Alma was saying that her downside pivot is a good reversion point, mid probability reversion target back to the centroid. So like that's 30-point play if you bottom ticked it, of course. Some people don't use their own entry models and they just play Alma's levels, which I think is a little dangerous. But there's enough people in her chat that basically plays her levels very religiously. See, on the 15-minute, I kind of like the 10 o'clock, which would have been a 10-15 long on NQ. But I just couldn't pull the trigger. No sweep. Yeah, it's worthwhile drawing in the trend line for sure. Right now, we just rejected off a value area high. The NQ trend line kind of worked in a sense that it was also intersecting with VWAP. So if we're going to stay down, like, I would like to see it stay down here. $74.20. $74.20 on SPX. Still quite a ways away. Also, overnight on ES, I thought maybe either ES or NQ would sweep, but it didn't. Like, I was looking at a potential short, maybe at around 7. That's normally when I get onto the computer and looking at the charts. And I was looking for a potential short around there, around 7-ish. But I didn't want to hold through PPI, and I figured PPI would be what causes it to move. And PPI did cause it to move very nicely downwards, but I feel like it's pretty random, especially with the all-time highs like so close. I thought there was a good chance that we might sweep that and then move down, but that didn't happen either, and we didn't get the NQ sweep either. $74.25. Yeah, that SMT at 920, 925 between ES and NQ was kind of pretty. As much as I wanted to enter, I also wanted to wait for open, and then when it opened, it just kind of like went down. So it is what it is. But I wanted to see a potential run up to 74.20. For a rejection play. 74.25. 74.20, 74.25, around there. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping to see that in the morning. And then we get a nice flush down towards the overnight lows. It didn't quite play out. Yesterday, after the gap fill, after we did that 70-30, 70-40 gap fill, 73-30, 73-40 on SPX. Once we hit that gap fill, it looked like we just reversed and V-shaped, pretty much. V-shaped recovery. Though I don't think I had, like, I'm just looking back right now, I don't know that I saw any real signals to enter or anything like that. Yeah, I don't have anything. So even if I stayed on, I don't think I would have entered any trades. They're trying paper trade short. I don't think that's a bad one at all. Yeah, PPI came in real hot, but even Alma was saying it's a buy to dip. And the vol signals also noted, it was just like, hey, the range is just looking like at the beginning of the day. He said the range was probably 73.70 to about 74.25. With a potential run towards 74.45 on SPX. So it's basically, yeah, we were like, it was very obvious just looking at the options depth positioning that 73.40 at the time was like the main hurdle to get over if we wanted further downside. So it was likely to kind of get supported there. And then 74.25 was the largest positioning at the time. So you're kind of sandwiched between two dealer negative positioning. It looks like there's a world's first production ready manned mecha, almost like those Avatar like war machines, where the guy is able to kind of sit in the middle and control the arms and the legs. It's insane. From 650,000, it's a civilian vehicle. And it's by Unitree. That's absolute insanity. Straight out of a movie. Just oil that. Okay, oil is at 103. Decent SMT there. Hopefully this SMT holds. I don't know if this is for further downside or not, but very reasonable scalp. Back to like a fair value gap. Maybe NQ finally sweeps. Maybe. I've been jabbering on, and I've been on mute, I think. Brutal. Anyways, what I was saying was on a daily time frame, I don't think there's any real risk until OPEX. Like call it like a potential risk window. It's just an opportunity for where the market is no longer pinned or influenced from the current OPEX cycle. But what's weird about this month is VIX expires, the monthly VIX expiration expires after the monthly index. So the monthly index is the third Friday of every month. So this month it'll be May 15th is when it expires. There's an AM expiration and a PM expiration on SPX. And then today would typically be the third Wednesday of every month. But it's not the third Wednesday. It's actually only the second Wednesday of this month. So the third Wednesday of the month would be the real VIX expiration, the monthly VIX expiration, which is May 20th. So you kind of have to wait for vol to be unpinned and OPEX to be unpinned. But sometimes you can still get a move. And on the third Friday of every month, I like to watch out for what Vol Signals calls the XYLD or the QYLD. I think one of them is quarterly and the other ones happen monthly. And it's just a flow that happens between like 10:30 to, I think, around 1 p.m. Give me one sec here. So the XYLD manages billions in assets, and systematically they sell covered calls on SPX once per month. And they sell them at predetermined time windows after they choose a strike. And the flows, like the size is enormous. So it becomes like a very dominant flow, especially if not much is happening. And the flows are mechanical and they're quite predictable too. So normally what you see is early morning weakness between like 10:30, sometimes even 11 o'clock. And it's because everyone knows XYLD will be dumping a huge amount of calls at 11:30, and that's the predetermined time. So the traders, they often sell early. They sell the market early to front run this known supply that's coming onto the market. So what happens is you get like a nice front run kind of behavior where the index SPX ES moves down, and then at around 11 o'clock, XYLD, they choose a strike or SPX that they'll sell calls on, and at 11:30 they start executing. And when they normally execute between 11:30 and 1, I believe. And when they execute, there's just this massive mechanical buying. Because it doesn't. So one of the things that I would say is that with this XYLD trade, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you'll often see, like, I think it was last month that we just continuously bought up. And then at around 1 o'clock, that's when we started to see weakness, because XYLD was done buying up. But even prior to XYLD reallocating their funds, what they do, what the market did last month, I believe, either that or March, but they ended up buying up the entire morning. And then it continuously bought up during XYLD. And then finally, when XYLD stopped at around 1, I think that's where you got some weakness. 17th. Yeah, it was last month. So April 17th, the market just kept on buying up and buying up. And everything, like, I was looking for weakness, but the weakness never came. And we just kept on buying up. And at that point, it wasn't until 1 o'clock that we saw, like, the buying stopped. So whatever flows that was keeping us up in the morning was pumping. And then on top of that, at 11:30, there's even more of a pump. And it just continued until there were no more bullish flows. And when after the XYLD stopped at around 1, we started to move down. And we moved down about like 30 points, I believe, which is not bad for a trade. But it's just interesting to see how flows kind of move this thing. And XYLD, like, they publish what they do. Oh, you got stopped out. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything here. It just looks like a bullish flow up. I don't think I see anything real until about 74.25. Yeah, agreed. I agree with you. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Oh no, actually, I'm off tomorrow. I won't be. I might trade pre-market, but I might not even trade pre-market. Like, I got to do some things, and yeah, I won't be on for like most of the day. So I'll see you Friday. Okay, this thing should go up to 74.41. 74.41. That's only another 5 points. So we're basically retracing all of CPI, or not CPI, PPI, I should say. The positioning is looking a little bit funky right now. I just can't see like a reversal of flows happening. Or maybe there's a potential for that. 74.17. I need something very enticing though if I'm going to get in. Nothing really. Nothing I love. That's a high volume 5-minute candle there. Still nothing. We're not seeing much here. Up move. This 15-minute might be interesting. Still creeping up here. US 10-year yields crept up to 4.5. US 2-year yields crept up to 4.01. Approaching the upside pivot here, but I really wanted to see it run towards 74.25 and see how we act on there. Seven. Another V-shaped recovery. All right, I think I'm gonna tap out. This is not offering any trades unless you're going with the trend here. 5-minute ADMA is held pretty much the entire time ever since it crossed back over. So ever since around 73.95-ish.